Finally, in order to integrate all of these aspects, so now we looked at the factors influencing your marketing and distribution. We looked at what a distribution channel is and how they can vary based on the types, right? So, how do we bring all of this together? How do we integrate all of these distribution channels and marketing channels? And how do we put across a synergized product or service? How do we attain synergy, or how do we attain cohesion amongst these products and services, right? So it is essential to note that uh, no matter where you are across the world as a global business, the message that you put across to your customers and clients should have uniformity, right? When you call yourself a global enterprise or an international business, there shouldn't be very stark and large variance in what you are trying to do or what you are trying to convey, right? So, coordinating brand message globally across different markets is key and critical, right? So, for that purpose, you have your advertising, you have your branding strategies, your public relations, social media, direct selling, blogging, your marketing strategy and your media outreach. All of these need to be pointed at a single direction. All of these need to be in concurrence with one another, right? Pointing in the same direction. And we see how advertising has evolved over a period of time, right? And when we look at how integrated marketing communication works, how it functions in everyday life, we see that it functions through your advertising. We see that it functions through your promotions. We see that it functions through your digital marketing and so on, right? So let's take advertising. How does integrated marketing communication work in advertising, right? So we see with reference to Cadbury, some of their campaigns like Kuch Meeta Ho Jaye, right? So what are they trying to do through this campaign? They're trying to convey the same message through their different products. It can be a box of celebrations, it can be your 10 rupees pack of dairy milk, it can be your silk, it can be your treats, but irrelevant of what product they are selling, in what shape and size, they try to convey the same message as Kuch Meeta Ho Jaye. They're trying to convey a message of festivity, a message of culture, a message of unison, a message of harmony, right? So uh, um, it doesn't matter as to what platform they choose to do this on. They're trying to ensure that the relevance of that message is still uniform, and it can either be standardized or it can be localized, right? Now, let's take Cadbury again. Across the country, we see that this campaign is standardized across all of their products. But if you look at Cadbury as a global product, as a product that is available across the world, obviously this campaign would not resonate amongst the global consumer, right? So someone who is out of India, someone who's a foreigner to the language, to the festivity, to the culture, to the traditions of India, would not be able to resonate and concur with this campaign, right? So we see that they have a more localized approach, adhering to a more polycentric view, and we also see firms taken a standardized approach, right? So, what does standardization do in with respect to advertising, with respect to distribution channels, right? So, standardizing helps you leverage on the economies of scale, where you can gain more by spending less, right? So, that is what brands like Nike do, right? So Nike does not follow a very polycentric way. They try to standardize their distribution channels, they try to standardize their products and services, and they standardize what they stand for, right? In an essence, that they do not want to cater to a specific section of the society, or they do not want to tailor their distribution networks and channels. They do not want to tailor their advertising and promotions to a specific region, right? So they keep it more globalized, they keep it more general, and they keep it more global, right? So uh, two types of international advertising strategies. One is to standardize and one is to localize. And depending on that, you devise your entire strategy and you decide on how you are to distribute your products or services. And then finally, we look at how brands work with respect to resonating with their people, with the consumers, right? We look at international businesses and how public relations plays a critical role in ensuring that the same message is put across the world, right, with reference to the same product or service. For instance, when we look at Apple, right, we see a billboard here which says, "We're not perfect, phones aren't perfect, and we want to make all our users happy." Right, very straightforward and simple statement, and this message is maintained uniform across all of their units, across whether it's India or whether it's the USA, whether it's China or whether it's somewhere in the south of America, right? So we see that this message remains uniform. All they want to do is make their users happy, right? And whether it's digital marketing, whether it's Steve Jobs speaking on a stage, or whether it's through the resonating attributes of their stores, their brick and mortar stores, right? So wherever it is, they try to resonate the same message, uniformity in what they want to convey through their public relations. And public relations plays a critical role in ensuring that your distribution channels remain effective and in ensuring that your products and services reach the right people at the right time, at the right place, and at the right price, right? So, whether it's redressals, whether it's concerns, whether it's feedback, whether it's solving certain issues concerned with your post purchase, right? So all of this has to do with public relations, and it certainly plays a critical role in how you get products across, right? So all of that has to do with your advertising. And next, we look at how digital marketing plays a critical role in getting your products and services across. Now, when we talk about digital marketing at large, we have your SEO, we have your pay-per-click, we have your content, we have your email marketing, blogs, web design, and so many different types of strategies followed for digital marketing. Now, these are patterns of strategies that can get your product or service across. Now, with an evolving and dynamic market for global businesses, it is essential that you adhere to these strategies in order to get your product or service across to a larger audience. Now, obviously, a direct marketing strategy would work, but how can you stand out in today's context in a very competitive scenario, right? So digital marketing has completely revolutionized how marketing works and how you get products and services across. So you have social media platforms, you have your search engine optimization, you have influencer marketing where you get people who have a large number of followers on their social media platforms, and you ask them to market your product, to advertise your services and products, right? To put it across on social media. And this has a wider reach, right? We also have things like affiliate marketing and marketers who promote different brands, different firms, different products and services across their platforms. And this seems to have a better reach in today's digital scenario, right? And then finally, we see how direct marketing works in contrast to digital marketing. With respect to direct marketing, you have your email, you have your telemarketing, you have your direct mails, you have your door-to-door marketing, catalogs, and all of these different modes. But this format is more conventional. It adheres to the laws laid down by conventional marketing, where it is required that you get into direct touch with your consumers and you eradicate all forms of intermediary modes of communications where you are trying to reach out to your consumers on a more direct basis. So it can be a fax, it can be an email, it can be through your television, right, or it can be through your radio or whatever it is. But you're trying to get to your customers on a more direct basis without just beating around the bush, right? So you're trying to get things done on a shorter life cycle, right? And then, so that concludes our video. on how distribution channels are structured and how advertising and branding and promotions and strategies evolve and revolve around your distribution networks, right? Thank you.